machine. Book your place on the time machine. Take my hand to
The fabric of the universe is full of galaxies, stars, moons and planets. Some in their prime, some have had their time, others waiting to be born. But in any fabric there must be holes, gaps between the weave. And it is within these gaps that we may travel and unravel the mystery that is space and time. We begin our play in sunny INSTOW with a young man named Tim. He is yet to understand the true fate that waits before him. Our story starts, where else? Outside John's beach hut.
Oh, hello Fred. Can I tempt you to an iced skinny mocha chocker?
That sounds rather exotic for INSTOW on a Monday morning, Mike. What is it?
It's a cup of coffee.
What's going on back there?
Oh, that's that there young Tim, studying for his science project for his Open University degree. Instead of getting on, sorry. Instead of getting on with those deliveries!
You mean university and third degree, surely?
Hey, don't you let him hear you say that. He's keen.
Well, I can't stand here all day chatting.
What about that cup of coffee?
Oh, yes. Later on, perhaps, providing you put a dollop of ice cream in it. Okay, Mike. Cheers.
Hello? Mr. Smith? Oh, yes. I see. He'll be along shortly. Goodbye. So this is what you've been wasting your time on?
It's not a waste of time. It's a time machine.
What about those deliveries?
I've just had Mr. Smith.
I've just had Mr. Smith on the phone wanting to know where his bagels and his paper have got to.
Oh, he's an old fusspot.
And you're an hour late. And you need to go some to catch up. I'm off for a cup of tea.
Who cares if you're a bit late? Old Smith isn't going to die for want of a bagel. He always expects everything yesterday anyway. Yesterday. Hey, I could use a time machine to deliver the orders. Yes! Just turn the controls back and away I go. But what if? No, I mustn't think like that.
The royal train has stopped unexpectedly at INSTOW station. Queen Victoria, wishing to explore, has made her way to the seafront in the company of a young lady-in-waiting, Lady Clara Bingham, accompanied by the ever-faithful John Brown.
Oh, how delightful to take in the sea air and to stretch one's legs.
It is a long journey from London, Your Majesty.
Indeed. What is the name of this little village, Lady Clara?
It is INSTOW, ma'am.
It does appear to be quiet. One hopes that the natives are friendly.
Do fast yourself, ma'am. This stage looks dull enough, all stowed out with the rich old folks in braw houses.
Quite pleasant.
There is someone up at the platform trying to get our attention.
Oh, we are amused.
Did he look, man? The fella, isn't he, Breeks?
Dear, he's gone. Whatever did you do that for, Mr. Brown?
'Twas not a fitting sight for your royal eyeballs, ma'am, and some things cannae be unseen. Oh, look, ma'am, there's another of them over there.
He's trying to get our attention, Mum.
We shall investigate, Lady Clara, as this one appears to be appropriately clad at least. Good morning, sir. And what do you do?
I am a purveyor of speciality seafoods and quality ices, missus. Can I offer you a penny lick? Now you sit yourself down here and I'll go fetch the ices.
Are you sure about this, ma'am? Yon fella, he looks a herring short of a barrel to me.
And quite harmless, I am sure, Mr. Brown. It is rather refreshing to meet our common people. Lady Clara, one has a fancy to sketch. Run back to the train, there's a dear, and bring my sketchbook and charcoals, please. Such a dear, charming village across the water there. Do you not think so, Mr. Brown?
No.
You don't want to be going over there. They're a funny lot. It is all to do with them marrying their cousins, you know.
We were married to our dear cousin Albert.
Oh, I beg your pardon, missus. I didn't know you was from Appledore.
One is not from Appledore.
Oh, was Albert from Appledore then?
Oh, stop your blithering, man, and have your frozen cat lap back and all. Come along, man. We're away out of here. I've had enough of these local loonies. You may save.
Here. You have to pay for them their ices, you know.
One carries no coinage. Mr. Brown?
Ugh.
Oh, now let's not be too hasty, missus. We have much more to offer to more discerning customers around the corner, you know, in our larger premises. Isn't that so, Mr. Trimble?
Just so, Mr. Johns, just so. It contains a veritable cornucopia of the choicest comestibles. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Come and get your Johns's past. Come and buy Johns's cheese. Get your money out for vino and pay them at the counter, please. If you like a plump new chicken, would you like a leg of lamb? If you want something bigger, I'll get it out the back of the van. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. Oh, chickadee bum. Dairy. If you like the local paper, well, it's only full of sin and sleaze. I see you eyeing up page 3, sir.
I'll take one, please.
I'm open in the morning early. I'm closing very late at night. I'm walking when the moon is pearly. I hope I don't give you a fright. Oh, chickadee bum. Dilly. Bum, chickadee bum. Dilly.
Oh, dear, I wonder where the Queen has gone. You wait here, little pom-pom, whilst I go and look for your mistress. She can't have gone far.
I'm still in INSTOW. No, wait, it looks different. Yes, it is different. It smells different. Can't see any cars and it's very quiet. The shop booth still looks the same though. No, the sign has changed and the chairs and the table. I wonder what's in that basket. Perhaps it holds a clue to the year.
Put that down at once! How dare you touch Her Majesty's property?
Well,
What's the matter with you? Have you lost your voice? Or is it the fact that I've caught you stealing the Queen's property?
Here, I say, I am not a thief. I have no idea who it belonged to, let alone the Queen, as you say.
As I say, you accuse me of lying the moment that you find your voice. What a fine display of shabby manners.
Oh, no, sorry, look, I only picked up the basket to find out what year it is.
Oh, it appears that Mr. Brown was correct to express his concerns about the sanity of the inhabitants of INSTOW. Surely you know it is 1869.
Hey, is it really 1869? Really? Honestly?
You have the temerity to question my truthfulness again?
No, sorry, of course not. It's just that this is so amazing, you won't understand.
Because I'm a woman, I suppose, and therefore simple-minded.
No, nothing like that. It's just that this is so wonderful and so amazing, I can hardly misbelieve it myself. I've done it. I've actually done it. Yahoo! Amazing! Amazing!
So you keep saying, but what exactly have you done? You are so annoying, do tell me.
I've travelled through time. I left INSTOW in the year 2018, and here I am in 1869. It works! The time machine really works! It works! It's
Amazing?
It is! Oh, I'm so excited! Oh, I'm so sorry. I got carried away.
It's all right. You are obviously very excited, but are you really from 2018?
Yes, I am. And I can prove it. Look. Look at the date.
Oh, yes. So it is, but who is this peculiar person?
That's the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Really? It is Ulysses S. Grant in 1869, and the Queen does not like the look of him.
Is that Queen Victoria? Is that Queen Victoria?
Yes, I am one of her ladies, and she is my godmother.
Well, I'm Tim, by the way, Tim Travers, and I work for my uncle who owns the shop here. Or does he? Or do I mean did he?
And I am Clara Bingham. Please, will you show me your machine? Did you build it all by yourself?
Yes, I did.
How clever of you.
Oh, not really. I've dreamed of travelling through time ever since I saw Doctor Who on the television.
Doctor Who?
Yes, Doctor Who.
Television? Oh no. What's this? Please, no. no, it can't be. I left dear little Pom-Pom here as I went to look for the Queen. I told him not to go far. And now you have landed your machine on him.
Who's Pom-Pom?
He belongs to the Queen. He was a gift from her favourite grandson, Willem of Prussia. And now you have squashed the Queen's dear little dog. How could you?
Hey, just a minute. That's not fair. I didn't know he was there.
Well, you should look where you're going with that beastly machine.
No, look here. There's no need for that.
How are you going to tell the Queen? She will be so upset. And Mr. Brown will probably rip your arms off. He's very strong, you know, and does not like persons who upset the Queen.
Does he? Right. Then we need to think of a solution. There's always a solution.
Is there now?
Yes. Just got to think of it, that's all.
Oh, easy then. I don't suppose you could take your machine back to just before you landed on poor little Pom-Pom.
That's it. Brilliant. Clara, you're a genius. Come on, gather everything up and put it in the basket.
Even poor little Pom-Pom.
Here, I'll do it. We don't want Queen Victoria coming upon him and Mr. Brown getting angry. Come on, Clara, climb aboard.
Me?
Yes, you, it'll be fun. Come on.
As with any aspect of time, twiddle the knobs too far and you get strange consequences, beyond our hero's foresight or even hindsight. It will be several thousand years before the first Rotary Club is formed, but we may perhaps imagine its origins, which is even before the invention of the inner wheel.
We mean no harm.
They don't understand you, Clara. We've travelled back too far into prehistory by the look of things. I haven't quite got the hang of this machine yet. I just need to make a few adjustments here and there.
Never mind that now. What are we going to do about them?
Yes. We are from another time. We are British. Understanding?
I know. We'll give them Mr. Smith's bagels. He won't mind, will he?
Oh no, he won't want them now we've dragged him about. He's a fussy old customer.
I'm sorry. I have no more. They've all gone. Oh dear.
This is looking ugly.
I don't know. This one doesn't look too bad. If he were to cut his hair and have a shave.
No, I mean, sorry, Clara, but we have to go. Come on, hold tight. It's time to go.
We must not interfere with the past, as it might have dire consequences for our present. One ginger wig misplaced and reincarnated upon the head of a president, and INSTOW has become the 51st state of America.
Oh, I hope this is 2018. Oh, my word.
Welcome to the 23rd North Super Bowl, where the INSTOW Yankees are facing the Appledore Raiders. It looks like to be another exciting game. This event is brought to you by our sponsor, Chuck John's of Johnny's Convenience Store, where you can find all your fried goods, including everything from tomatoes to aluminum, hot dogs, and maybe for that special person in your life, a Colt 45. All that and more from Johnny's Convenience Store.
My goodness, this is awful. What has happened to INSTOW?
Are you certain that this is INSTOW? It's so loud and brash.
There's my Uncle Michael. Oh, I have a nasty feeling, but it looks like the United States of America. And I have a nasty feeling that somehow I'm to blame.
How can you be to blame for this catastrophic turn of events?
Well, I didn't want to mention it yet. Please don't get upset. But I think I've lost Pom Pom.
He has gone. Do you think he's back with the cavemen?
I do, and I think that has something to do with what's happened here.
But how can the Queen's squashed Pomeranian be the cause of this?
Well, I remember reading a book ages ago about somebody who travelled back in time and they accidentally trod on a butterfly. And when they returned to their own time, everything was different. What if that's what's happened here?
Well, if that is so, we only have to go back and return Pom Pom to the Queen and put everything right again.
Clara, you are wonderful.
Do you really think so, Tim?
For sure. You hit the nail smack bang on the head every time. Come on, let's go.
Remember what you said last time, Tim? You're still learning to drive this machine.
I think hitting one nail on the head is enough for today.
Tim's handling of the controls is still somewhat unpredictable, but they have arrived in startling contrast in the more genteel period of the early 19th century among its real and fabled inhabitants.
I can hear someone approaching. Quick, let's go and hide before they can see us.
Would you ladies care for a nice cup of tea or a fresh herring?
Thank you, sir, but no. Good day to you.
Jane, how cleverly you decipher the language of the rustics of this region. I am ready to sink when one of them addresses me, for I know not the meaning of what they are trying to convey.
It's merely a question of unravelling their vowels, Cassie, and fear not, for they are a simple people, quite friendly and harmless. One cannot but fail to be enchanted by this pleasing aspect and invigorated by the sea air.
Oh, Jane, you are right. It does indeed stimulate the senses. In fact, my artistic ardour is sufficiently quickened to feel the need to sing at this very moment. My heart, it is quickened by the freshness of the air. It makes me feel quite dizzy, but this is there, invigorated by the air, enchanted by the sea. Would it really be a problem if I just let down my hair,
Or even show some ankle if I really, really dare.
invigorated by the air, enchanted by the sea? Take a breath, stretch your legs, does it feel delightful? There's a skip in your step, then you'll feel alive and you're invigorated by the air, enchanted by the sea. Invigorated by the air, enchanted by the sea. Oh, Jane, there is a gentleman in the sea. He is waving to us.
You must be mistaken, Cassie, for it would not be proper for a gentleman to wave to two young ladies with whom he is not acquainted. Modestly avert your eyes immediately.
But Jane, I do declare, it is Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy? Have you taken leave of your wits, Cassie? Why on earth would Mr. Darcy be bobbing about in the Atlantic Ocean?
You are familiar enough with Mr. Darcy to know him to be a noted partaker of a dip.
Familiar? Cassie.
How can you utter such?
How can you utter such madness?
Well, really, Jane, for all your clever brains and bookish ways, you have it in you to be a veritable half-wit, and often fail to perceive what is in front of your very nose. Observe the gentleman for yourself before casting judgment upon my senses. There.
Why, Jane, you are absolved. For it is indeed Mr. Darcy. How delightfully he waves, so manly.
Should we not return his salutations?
There is no one in the vicinity to witness such forward behaviour on our parts, Cassie, so I think a polite flutter of our handkerchiefs would be in order. Come, Cassie.
Oh, look how animated he has become. See how his chest is bared. I dare not look any longer. Oh, I feel a swoon advancing.
Oh, Cassie, come, sit on this rustic chair for a while, and I will endeavour to revive you. Dear Cassie, are you quite recovered? I note the colour returning to your cheeks.
Thank you, Jane, quite restored. Oh dear, Mr. Darcy has gone.
Oh, how mortifying. I was about to wave to him again.
Too bold, Jane, too bold. Come, let us return to the cottage and take tea with Aunt Philadelphia.
Thank you. Thank you both. Most kind. I'm indebted.
Please, save your strength. Oh, you poor man. How could those ladies callously leave you to drown?
Miss Austen has a particular feeling for me.
Funny way of showing it.
Well, as I do not reciprocate the feeling, I'm afraid that her pride is bruised. And with her being of a somewhat waspish nature...
That's no excuse.
What about the other one?
Cassandra, she manages to be quite the reverse of her sister. Manages to be insipid, timid and dim. Nice voice though.
I expect you could do with a nice cup of tea, sir.
That would be most welcome, especially if you would add a drop of brandy to it. Fitzwilliam Darcy, delighted to make your acquaintance.
I'm Tim Travers and this is Clara Bingham.
We are time travellers.
Are you? Oh, that is interesting.
I don't suppose for one moment you believe us, but it's true.
I'm the last person to be prejudiced, believe me.
Are you Mr. Darcy from Miss Austen's book?
I'm sorry, I don't follow you.
Pride and Prejudice. You end up marrying the heroine in the book.
Sounds revolting. I'm aware that Miss Austen has had considerable success with her novel Sense and Sensibility, but of Pride and Prejudice I have no knowledge.
But you came out of a lake in a wet shirt and all the women went bonkers about you. My mum nearly choked on her hobnob when she saw that.
Television? Do you think that Miss Austen was inspired by today's events? This is so exciting. It's my favourite book. You must be the real Mr. Darcy.
I'm sorry. Enough about me. It's too confusing.
Oh well.
Tell me more about your time travels.
Come aboard, come and have a look. It's still at the experimental stages at the moment, but I'm beginning to get a feel for it. The time control here is a little bit sensitive.
Ah! They're all gone. And I have put a large measure of brandy in here. It would be a crime to waste it.
That time control is tricky. But our travellers are a little closer, having arrived towards the end of the 20th century, on the day that Fred and Ada Pocock have returned to INSTOW in order to celebrate their ruby wedding anniversary. At least Ada has.
Hey Fred, will you just look at that view? I'd quite forgotten how lovely it is. So romantic. Do you remember how we stood here on our honeymoon, looking out over there at sunset? Aye. And you said how my hair shone like a copper kettle with sun on it, and my eyes glowed with fire like a tiger in jungle.
Oh, I never said that.
You did, Fred, you did.
Must have been some other bloke.
Well, I certainly haven't been on honeymoon with anyone else now, have I? You just can't be bothered to remember as usual.
Hey, I do remember now. They charged a tanner for a pint of brown ale, and that were any dearer than at home. And it's no better now, you know. 20 pence a pint, 20 pence. I don't know why we've to come down here. What's wrong with Cleethorpes?
We go there every year. That's what's wrong with Cleethorpes.
Happen you've never complained before.
But this year's our ruby anniversary, and that's special. I wanted to come back to our honeymoon place. Just took 2 of us now, kids have left home.
Have they? I hadn't noticed. You're always feeding them, and they're eating more than these days.
That's our grandchildren. Really, Fred, you can be such an old fart.
Ada, what do you call me?
Well, you make me so cross. I thought we'd come back here and relax, relive the old times, and maybe rekindle to flames of past passion onto glowing embers of a lifetime of love.
What the? You've been reading them trashy books again, haven't you?
There's nought wrong with Mills and Boone. They're like living in a wonderful, magical, romantic dream. Oh, Fred, enfold me in your strong arms, intoxicate me with your musky masculine aura, fling me onto hot sand like a rag doll, and make wild, passionate love to me.
Flippin' heck, Ada! I'll go get your strawberry mimmy. That'll cool you down.
A damsel in distress. Fitzwilliam Darcy, at your service.
I must be dreaming. Are you real?
I'm quite real, I assure you. See?
Here, you! That's my wife! You leave her alone!
sir. I meant no offence.
Go on, you long-haired fop, you. Oh, Fred, how masterful. Is that for me? Oh my, it's a pineapple mivvy. Aye, it's your favourite. Oh, Fred, you remembered. Romance, all I want is some romance. All I ask is just one dance. I want romance, I want romance. Relax, I've got a move or two in me. Just take me hand and then you'll see a man who can give you romance. One little name is chivalry. I thought that it was Leslie. Watch out, I've got romance, I've got romance. Dancing together we will glow. A step in time and then we know. Watch out, we've got romance, we've got romance. Watch out, we've got romance, we've got romance. Oh, Fred.
Tim, that was so romantic. It was wonderful, Clara, but it's time for us to go now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As you know, we left Tim and Clara in a bit of a pickle. They whizzed off pretty quick. Let's see where they landed.
Quiet. This is supposed to be a sonnet movie. You'll get plenty to say in the future. But right now, I want quiet. Quiet. You still here? Well, you want a part, do you? Okay. Meet me in my trailer after the shop. Ready, roll, and action.
Get your ice creams here. Just one cornetto. Give it to me. Delicious ice cream from Italy. Creamy vanilla and chocolate dream. Just one cornetto from
to see William Shakespeare would be wonderful.
Cut! Cut!
I'm sorry, I don't like the look of this. We're going, Clara.
Now Tim has mastered the controls, Lady Clara's wish is granted, and they visit the Bard of Stratford-upon-Avon. But he is having a midsummer nightmare with his comedy of errors.
Down in the country he writes with a quill that he plucks from the bird on his windowsill. A playwright by day, a playwright by night, he was bashing out that deep stuff by candlelight with a hey nonny nonny, 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 William Shakespeare.
Begging your pardon, Master Shakespeare. There are two gentlemen here to see you.
I'm too busy to see them.
But they've come all the way from Verona.
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, Master.
Well then, I don't care if they've lived from Lisbon, swum from Swanage, or crawled from Croydon. I'm still too busy to see them. Writing a play here. See? Tell them to go away.
As you like it, Master.
There goes the new play, Will.
A bit of peace and quiet to get on with it wouldn't go amiss.
I see. You've got the blockage again.
No, Anne, I do not have the blockage.
You're not stuck then? Or do you perhaps have a blockage in the bowel?
Writer's block is the phrase I believe you're unsuccessfully groping for. A crippling affliction of the creative brain and nothing to do with bowels, blocked or otherwise.
Are you sure? You know what a tetchy old sourpuss you could be when you have the blockage. And not to put too fine a point on it, as you are sometimes inclined to do, Will, a good dumpage might clear you. A dose of my rhubarb and fenny snake physic. That's what you need. Get those creative juices all flowing again.
Fire and brimstone, woman! What I need is to get into the hearts and minds of two young lovers tasting the intense, bittersweet fruits of love for the first time. I need their hopes, their dreams, their passionate longing, their words of love. Even their names would be a start. But what I do not need is any of your rhubarb and penny snake physic.
It's rhubarb and fenny snake.
What?
It's rhubarb and fenny snake. You said penny snake.
I don't care what it is. I don't want it. Get out. Go on. Get out and get on with whatever it was you were doing before you came in here minding my business.
I was looking for that new boy Romeo. I sent him to kill a piglet for supper ages ago. Romeo! Romeo! We're far out now. Romeo! Oh, there you are. Where have you been? Why is that piglet still alive? And cradled in your arms so?
I cannot do it, mistress. Under love's heavy burden do I sink.
Love, love, it's a piglet. Oh, do not waste your love on those who do not value it. Come, Screw your courage to the sticking place.
She jests at scars that never felt a wound. Oh, speak again, bright angel. I cannot kill her, mistress. I cannot. Have pity.
Oh, infirm of purpose. Give me the dagger.
No, no. You shall not have it.
Come here, you.
Hen-hearted.
Come here, you useless, hen-hearted half-wit.
Save us, master. I implore thee.
For heaven's sake, I'm trying to write a play here. What is the cause of this tempest you raise?
Oh, 'tis much ado about nothing, my love.
Nothing. Nothing. She wants to kill this piglet.
You will soon learn that Mistress Anne hath a way about her. And I'm not going to attempt taming the shrew this side of Twelfth Night. For she wields a ladle with a goodly arm, I can tell you.
Oh, oh, woe, fair Juliet. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Juliet? Where is this Juliet?
Here, master.
A flowery name for a piglet.
And why not? What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name would smell as sweet.
He has a point there. Here, Anne, where's that other boy? You know, what's his name? The one with the big ears and runny nose.
Hamlet?
Yes, Hamlet! That's him! Can't he kill the pig? He was never one to blench at sticking the knife in.
Oh, no. Hamlet left yesterday, that's why we got this new boy. Hamlet's gone to work in an inn in Windsor. The Merry Wives, I speak you know that.
Ah, the Merry Wives of Windsor. Oh, no, no, sorry. It doesn't ring a bell. Tell you what, my love, we have bread and cheese for supper. Romeo can tell me all about his Juliet, and you can pop off and fix me some of that rhubarb and Feliz Naples.
I knew it! You've got the blockage!
Not any longer, my sweet, not any longer. Sit you down, Romeo. All's well that ends well.
Wow, that Mrs. Shakespeare was a lively one.
But Romeo in love with a piglet named Juliet? That's just silly.
Well, it's as silly as Titania falling in love with an ass named Bottom. Love looks not with the eyes, Clara, with the mind.
And therefore is winged Cupid painted blind?
What? Come on, let's go and find Pom Pom.
All is peace and quiet in Stone Age INSTOW, as our friendly ancestors innocently slumber, unaware of the chaos they are causing in the far distant future. But our dynamic duo are determined to restore the status quo.
Tim, you've done it! We're back with the cavemen!
Oh, well, I've made a few adjustments to the magnetic force field, and I can now pinpoint the exact time zone to drop into. It's just a question of turning the kinetic transducer.
Never mind that now. We need to focus on returning Pom Pom to the Queen and restoring INSTOW to a somnolent retirement seaside village.
Hey, it's not that bad. It gets very lively at holiday times, and every day lots of nice people come to walk their dogs along the beach.
But I've not seen it in your time.
No, I'd like to show you all of my favourite places. Buy your hockings, stroll along the beach to watch a few overs at the cricket club, see the sunset go down over the bar. We have wonderful sunsets. And your glove. I know, we have to find Pom-Pom, but I don't know how we're going to do that. I can hardly see a thing.
We'd have to get down on our hands and knees and feel the ground.
Ouch! Shh! Yuck! I put my hand in something. Oh, it smells awful.
Be quiet, Tim. Shh! Ouch! Tim, look. On his head. It's Pom-Pom.
Oh my days! We'll never get him back now.
We have to. Think of the Queen. Think of INSTOW.
You're right. I'll do it.
Do what exactly?
Well, I thought you had a plan the way you were talking.
Me? You're the inventor. And you're the one with all the ideas. Are you calling me bossy?
No, I'm calling you smart and brave and sassy.
Sassy?
It's good, honestly.
Smart and sassy, hey? And do you really think that I'm brave?
For sure.
Right then. Run!
Clara!
1869. This was the year that Mr. Blackmore wrote Lorna Doone. This was the year the Cutty Sark was launched. This was the year the Suez Canal was opened. But, far more importantly to the inhabitants of INSTOW, this was the year in the history of time when the world was restored to its proper course.
Oh, that was so exciting. I can't believe I did it. Is this 1869?
According to my calculations, and it looks right. Come on, hand Pom-Pom to me and I'll put him back.
I haven't got him.
Oh, no. Don't say you've left him behind again.
Why do you always blame me? He was in my hand when we left the caveman.
Are you certain?
Of course I am. But do we really need him if we're back before we ever took him to the cavemen in the first place?
I'm not certain. But we had to have him to be on the safe side. What are we going to do now? What was that?
It's Pom-Pom! He's safe!
Oh, good boy. I'm pleased he's all right.
Yes, now Mr. Brown won't rip your arms off.
No, thank goodness. Oh. I suppose that means you'll be going home now, you know, back with the Queen.
I suppose it does.
I wish. Sorry, after you.
No, do go on.
I wish you didn't have to go.
I wish I didn't have to go.
One
Sand on the road, dogs on the beach, polluted river, toxic tip. Welcome home, Tim! And what will Clara make of it all?
Is this your time?
Yes, it looks just the same. I hope it hasn't changed.
Are you still here?
Never mind.
Never mind showing off that machine to that young lady. Get a move on. I don't want another earful from Mr. Smith about his papers and his bagels.
No, Clara, it hasn't changed at all.
Time stands still for us. No more counting years, and our dreams unfolding while you're by my side. No more counting tears. No more minutes, no seconds, no hours in time. No more years. Day and night we're sleeping down before our eyes. Let it all go by. No more minutes, no seconds, no hours in time. No more years. No more minutes, no seconds, no hours in time. No more years. You and me, we're timeless. You and me, we're timeless.
But there are many more stories to come. Tim and Clara have started on their journey. Now it is time for you to begin yours.
Time machine, the time machine. Book your place on the time machine. Take my hand to history, or even to the future no one else has seen. The dinosaurs, the Roman wars, all on the lever to open doors. Strap in and we're on our way. Get on the time machine. Fly through time, you'll get a tingling feeling. There and back in time for tea this evening. Witness William Shakespeare writing Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra, Antony. What a trip it would be. Time machine, the time machine. Book your place on the time machine. Strap in and we're on our way. Get on the time machine. What a trip